Science does not have a monopoly on reason. It certainly doesn't have a monopoly on logic. And science certainly does not have a monopoly on truth or reality with a capital T and a capital R. And I think believing science is the only language of truth, I think that's an incredible leap of faith. I think it's as great a leap of faith as a belief in a God. Now, whether you realize it or not, I think each one of us is living a life of faith in something. David Foster Wallace, an amazing novelist, he says this in one of the graduation speeches that he gives. He says, there's no such thing as not worshiping. Everybody worships. The only choice we get is what to worship. Look, we must put our chips in some bucket. We must choose. And by you deciding not to choose, if you say, look, I don't even want to choose, that is a choice. You're holding the chips on your own sleeve. That's cool, but that's a choice. That is a faith statement. There is no neutral ground. To me, no theory, no story is as satisfying in explaining this world, all of the world, the measurable parts and the non-measurable parts, as the Christian faith. So let me be clear, right? I don't believe in the Christian faith because it gives my life meaning or it is emotionally satisfying. I'm a mathematician. I have no emotions to satisfy. The reason I believe in physics, the reason I believe in the existence of forces and particles that I cannot see, the reason I believe in physics is because it best explains the physical world. Not because physics makes me happy, not because it's emotionally satisfying, because physics best explains that nature of reality. And the reason I believe in the Christian faith, that the world is broken because of its separation from God, that this God pursued us to bring us back to him, and it's clearly seen in the life and death of Jesus. The reason I believe that story is because that best explains my deep questions. This mess that I see, my hunger for justice and beauty. So let me just close by sharing with you some reasons why I like this faith, why I find it totally compelling. First of all, this Christian faith, it's not theoretical, it's not philosophical, it's not metaphysical, but it is grounded in history. Look, as a scientist, I want to measure things. And here's a faith that says, God interacted in history during this time in this way. I'd love to measure it. You see, the culminating punchline of the Christian faith is coming up next week, Easter Sunday, the resurrection of Christ. And it says that this man was brutally murdered, and he actually rose from the dead and has a brand new body. Look, the resurrection is the linchpin of this faith, and it's making these radical, radical claims. You can't use the tools of science to measure it, but you can use the tools of history. You can take historical tools and see if it tests, if it holds. I'm convinced they do. I'm convinced the resurrection happened. And unlike any other set of beliefs I know of, the Judeo-Christian faith boldly claims that this mess that I see in my life, that I see in the world around us, it's actually built into the very heart of God himself. This is why God is called Emmanuel, God with us in our mess, in our pain. The mess is central. It is central to the Christian story. Look, the death of Jesus shows that God does not accept a broken world as it is. That pain and justice are given a solution here. Look, some people look at the cross and they say, look, how can you believe in a God of wrath and a God of love? That doesn't make any sense to me, man. Wrath and love are totally opposite from one another. And to me, I don't see that at all. I see wrath and love as the same thing. You saw my baby girl, right? If anybody hurts my baby girl, there will be wrath in me. In my heart, I want to set things right. There will be anger swelling up. The opposite of wrath is not love. The opposite of love is just indifference. If something happens to her and I just don't care. That's the opposite of love, not wrath. And you see that at the cross, God is not indifferent. He pours his wrath on his son due to his love for us. And amazingly, in this death, this is weird, but God shares responsibility with us for our mess. I find that amazing. Now, the resurrection of Jesus, look, it's not some metaphysical or spiritual ghost-like resurrection. It's a flesh and blood resurrection. It says that the physical world matters, that flesh matters, sex matters, ice cream matters, earth matters, these things matter. See, this beautiful world will not be tossed aside. So what does this afterlife look like? You know, the new heaven and the new earth. What does it look like once we die? And what is the punchline to all of this? To me, here's what the future looks like. It looks like artists, musicians hanging out, inventors, academics. I get to do math every day. Oh, the rush. Oh, awesome. And I get to try different ice cream. I get to wear better shoes. I get to have friends come up to me and check out what I just designed. This car, way better than the car that I came up with last week. It is exactly what we were made for. It is the redemption of this world. It is what our gifts were made to do. It is not doing good deeds to get into heaven, to sing songs to a magical God. Dear God, I hope that is not true. But it is a beautiful world that will be set right. It'll be the way things should be. That's what I'm looking forward to. And when I practice this Christian faith, it frees me from brokenness. It actually offers me true acceptance. In my own life, I see more forgiveness, more peace, more love, more understanding, and a wisdom to live life well. Let me just close with a quote from one of my favorite books, The Princess Bride. Here's what it says. Life is pain. Anyone that says different is selling something. The point is, you can come and listen to us speak and talk and maybe answer some questions, but the point of it is we're living in this messy, tough world, and we have to deal with really hard questions. There's nothing we can say in 15 minutes or half an hour that's going to be revolutionary. Life is pain. There's no quick fix to this thing. But my friends, now is the time more than any other time that you can wrestle with these big questions and don't be afraid to get messy.